Welcome to the lecture on substructure, that too deep foundation. In the previous video we have discussed regarding shallow foundation. So in this video we shall discuss in detail regarding deep foundation. So what is deep foundation? If the depth of foundation is greater than its width, the foundation is known as deep foundation. In deep foundation, the depth to width ratio is usually greater than 4 to 5. Deep foundations as compared to shallow foundation distribute the load of superstructure vertically rather than laterally. These foundations are provided when the expected load from the superstructure cannot be supported on shallow foundations. In that situation, deep foundation is provided. Under this deep foundation, now there are various types of foundation: pile foundation, pier foundation, and well or caisson foundation. So this pile foundation, under pile foundation, end bearing pile and friction pile, these are the major types, and the next is compaction pile. Under pier foundation, masonry or concrete pier and drill caissons. Under well or caisson foundation, box caisson, open caisson, and pneumatic caisson. These are the different types. So pile foundation. Pile foundation is that type of foundation in which the loads are taken to a low level by means of vertical members, which may be timber, concrete, or steel. So in case of pile foundation, the foundation may be of timber material, concrete material, or steel material. Pile foundation may be adopted when no firm bearing strata is available and the loading is uneven. So normally in Ahmednagar district, the deep soil is there, deep soil, or you can say black cotton soil, where you're not getting hard strata up to 20 feet also. If you go for 20 feet, in that case also you will not find hard strata. So in that case, the solution is to go for pile foundation. So in case of pile foundation, these are directly driven from the ground, or sometimes pile holes are taken and then in situ is done or concreting is done. So it is not necessary to go for excavation of a large area. So it is called as pile foundation. So these piles may be of following types: end bearing piles, friction piles, last is compaction piles. So this type of pile is called as end bearing pile. So directly this can be driven from ground, or sometimes with the help of bores, augers, holes are taken into the ground of the required diameter and then concreting is done. So it is called as pile. So this type of pile is called as end bearing pile. So what is end bearing pile? End bearing piles penetrate through the soft soil and transfer its load to a hard and relatively incompressible stratum like rock or dense sand. These piles would virtually act as columns. The soft soil surrounding the pile provides some lateral support. These piles serve its bearing capacity from end bearing at the pile tip. So here major support is given from the end of the pile, and that's why it is called as end bearing pile. Partial support can be given from this or can be obtained from this side swells, lateral swells. So this is called as end bearing piles. So at this level, you remember end bearing piles means the loads are taken, major load is taken by the ends of the piles, and that's what is called as end bearing pile. Next is friction pile. The pile which does not rest on hard strata. So in case of this, pile rests on hard strata. So it is excavated to a depth so that hard strata will get obtained, and when it will rest hard strata, so with the help of this end, load is taken. That's what is called as end bearing thing. In case of friction pile, the pile which does not rest on hard stratum but derives its load carrying capacity from the adhesion or friction resistance between the pile surface and the neighboring soil is known as friction pile. So in case of this pile, the pile won't rest on hard strata. So as such, this pile will not get support from the below foundation, below strata. So in case of this, the load will be taken by the friction between soil and surface of the column, which is called as skin friction also. and that's why it is called as friction pile. So major part of the load is taken by the friction between soil and surface of the pile, and that's why it is called as friction pile. Now next is compaction pile. The compaction piles are used to compact loose granular soil, thereby increasing their bearing capacity. These types of piles do not carry any load themselves. Sand piles can be used as compaction piles. So whenever it is required to compact the soil below the foundation to increase the bearing capacity, in that case these compaction piles are used. Now coming to pier foundation. A pier foundation consists of cylindrical column of large diameter. So this is called as pier, and this is the pier foundation. A pier foundation consists of cylindrical column of large diameter to support and transport large supporting load to the firm strata below. Generally, pier foundation is shallow in depth than the pile foundation. So whenever it is not economical to go for that, in that case this is used. It is called as pier foundation. So here this is the concrete pier, this is the footing for it, right? This is also a pier. So this is called as pier foundation. Next is well foundation. Well foundation or caisson are box-like structures which are sunk from the surface of either land or water to the desired depth. They are much larger than the pier foundation or drilled caissons. Caisson foundations are used for major foundation works like bridge piers, docks, large waterfront structures such as pump house, etc. Caissons are of three types: box caissons, open caissons, and pneumatic caissons. So what is well foundation? Well foundation, it is also called as caisson or box-like structure which are sunk from the surface of either land or water to the desired depth. So this well foundation, these are sunken from the surface into the ground. It may be on the ground or it may be in the water itself. That is called as well foundation. So it is a box-like structure. Caisson foundations are used for major foundation works like bridges, piers. So whatever foundations is normally provided. So if you take the example of Godavari river, so for the bridge you will find the caisson foundation. So under caisson there are different types: box caissons, open caissons, and pneumatic caissons. So box caisson, it is a strong watertight vessel, open at the top and closed at the bottom, and made of timber, steel, or RCC. It is built on land, cured, and then float or launched to pier site where it is placed in position. Mainly it is used for shallow depth and for lightweight. The depth of water is about 6 to 8 meters. When foundation is to be taken, well foundation is to be taken into a water having depth 6 to 8 meter, in that case this box caisson is used. It is closed from the bottom, and open from the top, and then it is kept at the place. So this is regarding box caisson. Open caissons, a well caisson or well foundation is open at top as well as bottom. As name says, this open caisson, it is open from top as well as from bottom. It is provided with a cutting edge at the bottom to facilitate sinking. It is made up of timber, RCC, steel, or masonry. It is used for building and bridge foundations, also known as well foundation. Normally, open caisson foundation is prepared whenever it is required to take a well foundation into the water or into the sea. So it is open from both the ends. So here cutting edges are provided at the bottom. Curb like cutting edges are provided, so it is placed at the position and then it is sunk with the help of these cutting edges into the required depth, and then the bottom is plugged. It is filled up with the help of concrete so that new water will not enter, and this water it is removed with the help of pumping arrangement, and then foundation can be taken. The structure can be constructed on this. So this is called as open caisson or open box foundation or open well foundation. Then pneumatic caissons. This type of caisson is open at the bottom and close at the top. This is little bit reverse of well foundation. So this type of caisson is open at the bottom and close at the top. Open at the bottom, close at the top. Pneumatic caisson is specially used at the place where it is not possible to construct the well. When it is not possible to construct the well due to different reasons, in that case pneumatic caisson is preferred. It is suitable for a depth of water more than 12 meter. When depth of water is more than 12 meter, in that case pneumatic caisson is preferred. In the construction of pneumatic caisson, the compressed air is used to remove water from the working chamber, and the foundation work is carried out in dry condition. So here this pneumatic caisson, it uses compressed air to remove the water. Air is compressed into this caisson and then water gets removed. Special type of arrangement is provided here so that with the help of compressed air the water inside it gets removed. This type of caisson can be made of timber, concrete or steel. Normally the tolerable air pressure under which man can work is limited to 0.35 Newton per mm. Pressure, this should be Newton per mm square. Now next is shapes of well foundation. These are the various shapes: single circular, then twin circular, single circular, rectangular, dumbbell type, double D type, twin hexagonal, twin octagonal. So these are the various shapes. So this is all about the foundation. Now coming to classification of building based on the structure. So mainly there are three types: load bearing structure, frame structure and composite structure. So what is load bearing structure? As name suggests, in case of this load bearing structure, the walls are load bearing walls. So load from the superstructure, it is transferred to the wall and from wall to the foundation. So these walls are load bearing walls. It is a structure comprising of slab, beams and load bearing walls. So there may be slab, there may be beams, but no columns are there. So load is taken with the help of these walls, and that's why structure is called as load bearing structure. Please remember, in case of load bearing structure, the roof may be of slab, there may be beams, but no columns are there. So load is taken by these walls. Walls are load bearing walls, and that's why structure is called as load bearing structure. Such type of structures are most stable where hard strata is available at shallow depth. When it is possible, when hard strata is available at shallow depth, when it is possible to take the foundation at shallow depth. Load from slab, roof or trusses and floors are transmitted through walls to the subsoil below ground through their foundation. Brick foundation needs larger foundation area with respect to RCC frame structure because load bearing capacity of brick is much less than the RCC. Most of the residential buildings are small in size and are up to 3 story are constructed as load bearing structure. This type of structure is suitable up to 4 story. As thickness of wall is more, use less carpet area. So what is load bearing structure? When the load of the superstructure is taken by the wall itself, it is called as load bearing structure. So this type of structure, it can be constructed economically. Up to 3-story building can be constructed for 4-story building. As in case of this structure, walls are load bearing wall, the thickness of the wall will be more. So this inside area, which is called as net usable area, also called as carpet area, it will be less. And in case of this load bearing structure, it is not possible to go for additions and alteration. Suppose you want to construct a additional door here. In case of this, it is not possible, which is possible in case of frame structure. If this window you want to shift, you cannot shift because walls are load bearing walls, right? So what are the advantages of this? This can be economical. Up to 3-story building can be constructed up to 4-story buildings, right? This is the major advantage of this load bearing structure. But in case of this, carpet area will be less. In case of this, carpet area will be less. So this is about load bearing structure. Now coming to frame structure. So as name suggests, so this type of structure is called as frame structure, and it is having frame of column, beams and slabs. So this is the slab, this is the beam, and this is the column, this is the foundation. So this is called as a frame structure. columns, beam, slab. The frame is possible. So why it is called as frame structure? Because in case of this, load from the slab is transferred to the beam, and from this beam to the columns, and from column to the foundation. So here the walls are not load bearing walls. You can construct wall anywhere of any thickness, any height. You can construct door anywhere. You can construct the window. So additions and alterations are possible in case of this frame structure. And in case of this frame structure, as walls are not load bearing walls, the thickness of wall is less, so carpet area will be more, net usable area will be more in case of this frame structure. And this frame structure can be constructed up to any story, up to any height. It is economical for multi-storied building. The frame structure is economical for multi-storied building. Here, RCC is the most suitable material to withstand external loads like compressive tensile strains along the movement. Frame structures are constructed with RCC. Generally, all multi-story buildings or high-rise buildings are constructed with or constructed as a frame structure. So this is about frame structure. Composite structure. So composite means there is a combination of load bearing and frame structure. So here, the outer structure may be of load bearing and inner may be of frame structure, RCC structure. The structure constructed with combination of both load bearing as well as frame structure is called as composite structure. In this type of structure, external walls are treated as load bearing walls and the intermediate supports are of RCC column. So this is the combination of load bearing and frame structure. In simple words, you can say composite structure means it is a combination of load bearing structure and frame structure. The outer walls may be load bearing walls and inner columns may be frame structure or load bearing column. Here the loads of the slab is transferred to the subsoil below the ground by load bearing walls and columns through foundation. Composite structures are prepared for buildings having large spans such as workshops, halls, large factories, godowns, etc. So this is useful for in case of factory building, in case of workshops, in case of godowns, big structures, for large structures where economy is possible with the help of this type of combination or required. Economy is required with this type of combination. In case of that, composite structure is good. Composite structures have been very remarkable for huge or tall building around the world. So this is all about foundation and different types of structures. Now coming to causes of failure of foundation and remedial measures. So various types of causes are there: unequal settlement of subsoil, unequal settlement of masonry, subsoil moisture movement, then lateral pressure on the walls, then lateral movement of subsoil, weathering of subsoil due to trees and shrubs, atmospheric action. So at this level we shall discuss only unequal settlement due to subsoil and moisture movement, only these two. So unequal settlement of subsoil. This occurs due to various reasons such as unequal distribution of load on the foundation, varying bearing power of the soil essentially on the loaded. Due to unequal settlement of the subsoil, cracks are formed in the building which in future leads to serious defects. In case of this unequal settlement of the subsoil, when the soil below the foundation undergoes the unequal settlement, in that case there is possibility of settlement of foundation. So when the subsoil below the foundation it settles, in that case there will be development of the cracks in the building, and in future it leads to a serious defects. Following are the measures to be adopted to prevent such a failure. Foundation should rest on rock or hard strata. For this case, if there is possibility of subsoil settlement, the foundation should rest on the hard strata. Design of foundation should be appropriate so that the subsoil will take its load. It should be seen that the allowable bearing pressure on the soil is not exceeded even under the worst condition. That care should be taken. In that case, the load of the structure should be reduced. Property should be given to the eccentricity of the load on the foundation and design should be accordingly modified. So this is regarding unequal settlement of the subsoil. So what is this unequal settlement of subsoil? Sometimes the subsoil below the foundation may settle. In that case, there is possibility of formation of development of the cracks in the building, and it may lead to the failure of the structure. For that purpose, foundation should rest as far as possible. Foundation should rest on the hard strata. In case of those area, the superstructure load it can be reduced. While designing the foundation, due care should be given to the subsoil bearing capacity, and proper attention should be given to the eccentricity of the load. So this is regarding unequal settlement of subsoil. Now subsoil moisture movement. Subsoil moisture movement. So this is one of the major cause of failure of footing on cohesive soils where subsoil water level fluctuates. Sometimes in particular area, while taking the foundation, you will find water table at higher level. And during the summer season, that water table goes below. So due to this, what will happen? Due to this, as when water is there, in that case the soil will swell, and when water table will get reduced, it will shrink. So sudden changes will be there, shrinkage and swelling will be there, and due to this it will crack the structure, it will crack the foundation, it will damage the foundation. So this is regarding subsoil moisture movement. So when the soil below the foundation is having water table at higher level during a particular season, and it lowers down in a particular season, in that case there will be shrinkage and swelling of the subsoil, and due to this there will be formation of the cracks in the building, or there is possibility of settlement of the foundation. So this is all about failure of the foundation. Then foundation on black cotton soil. When it is when no alternative is there, one has to take the foundation is black cotton soil. In that case, because black cotton soil is having less bearing capacity, it is having properties like swelling and shrinkage. So black cotton soil swells during rainy season and cracks in summer due to shrinkage. These shrinkage cracks are 100 mm to 150 mm wide and 0.5 meter to 2 meter deep. Swelling creates upwards pressure on the structure and shrinkage creates downward pull. It results into cracks in foundation wall and roof. Hence foundation in black cotton soil need special care. So if it is required to take the foundation black cotton soil due to swelling and shrinkage, proper care should be taken. So what can be done in case of black cotton soil is only to a depth of 1 meter to 2 meter. It is economical to remove entire black cotton soil below the foundation, and the foundation can be constructed on red soil. Apart from this, black cotton soil should be removed from the sides of the foundation and filled with sand and gravel. In case depth of black cotton soil is more, the under rim pile foundation can be taken. So in case when it is required to take the foundation in black cotton soil, as black cotton soil it swells during the rainy season, it sinks during the summer season. So due to this, there will be development of the cracks and it will issue damage to the foundation. For this purpose, what can be done? The complete black cotton soil below the foundation should be removed and it should be filled up with the red soil to increase the bearing capacity of the soil. Apart from this, black cotton soil from the sides of the foundation, it can be removed and it should be filled up with the help of sand and gravel so that bearing capacity will get improved. Or alternative is the under rim pile foundation, it can be taken into black cotton pile. Already we have discussed regarding the end bearing piles and friction piles. Apart from the one more type is there which is called as under rim. So under rims can be developed. So this type of pile it is called as under rim pile. So here under rims, so this type of increase in the diameter can be possible with this under rim pile with the help of spatial arrangement. So due to this, more anchorage will be given to the foundation and the bearing capacity of the soil, it can be improved. So this is regarding foundation in black cotton soil. So with this, the deep foundation topic is completed. Thank you.